In this video, I'm going to tell you precisely how much snow you're going to see this year in your backyard. So if you're interested in exactly how much snow you're going to measure this year, pay attention to this video. As I always say, history is the best tool that we can use to predict the future. How much did it snow on April 4th, 1987 in Columbus, Ohio? Do you know? I do. It was a little over a foot. In fact, more than 2 feet of snow fell all the way down into Kentucky and Tennessee. Even Alabama and Georgia got in on some of those crazy snow totals during this freak spring snowfall event. Knowing this information doesn't tell me that it's bound to happen again, but it does tell me that it can happen. And looking at the total snowfall accumulation for Columbus, Ohio for the entire season in 1987, we can see that it was ultimately a below average winter in terms of total snowfall. You see, we have about 80 to 100 years of intricate data like this for just about any place in the US. By compiling all of that information together, not only can we easily highlight the worst of the worst by looking at instances like the April 4th, 1987 snowstorm, but we can also see a real overall average that's a good starting point in trying to forecast the total snowfall for this year or any upcoming future year. And guess what? I've done all that hard work for you. Let's take a look at a big old pretty map of the US that'll show us on average how much snow falls in any given area in the US. You can see we're starting off here with areas that on average see no snow. This includes Orlando, New Orleans, and Los Angeles. But just a little bit further north and we get this blue area. This includes Austin, Atlanta, and Las Vegas, where they actually get a trace of snow all the way up to 3 inches. Now, if you live in this sliver of darker blue here, you can expect anywhere between 3 and 6 inches of snow in a given year. That's going to include Charlotte, North Carolina, Little Rock, all the way up into Portland, Oregon. Now, the darker blue area is going to be 6 to 12 inches. So if you live in Nashville, Oklahoma City, or Seattle, that's how much you can expect to see on an average year. Now, this next zone is quite a bit bigger. So if you live in the light purple there in Wichita, St. Louis, or Cincinnati, all the way over towards Washington, D.C., you can expect to see a foot to 2 feet of snow during the duration of the snow season. And on average in this next zone, which includes Philadelphia, Des Moines, and Bismarck, you can see 24 to 36 inches of snow on any given average year. And now we're getting into some really high totals here from portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin, all the way down into a tiny sliver of Ohio and Pennsylvania, up into the southern New England area. You guys can expect to see all the way up to 48 inches of snow, just depending on how many nor'easters you get over there. Now, if you live in this next zone, this tiny little sliver of gray, you can expect to see 48 to 72 inches of snow. And then, of course, everything else from northern Maine into the Adirondacks, all the way over into the Rockies and into the Cascades and the high elevations, you guys can expect to see 72 inches of snow. And this does include areas just west of Denver and, of course, the city of Buffalo with all that lake effect and lake enhanced snow. So just by looking at this map, you could pretty well guess and come close to the amount of total snow you're going to see this year. But we're trying to get a little bit more in depth here, right? We're trying to be precise. Not every year is the same, and we know that weather patterns drift away from their averages all the time. Also, we know what causes that drifting to happen usually. For example, in 1987, we were transferring out of a very strong La Nina pattern and into a historically strong El Nino that lasted until 1989. And according to the latest long-range forecast models, it looks like we're actually heading into a La Nina winter this year yet again. You've heard of the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper, and you know all about double dipping, but have you ever heard of a quadruple dipper La Nina? This very well could be the case as we go into the new year. The Pacific Ocean must have a cold. It's got to be sick, because ever since 2020, sea surface temperatures in that area have been lower than average, creating a consistent negative multivariate ENSO index. Basically, the waters over there in the equatorial Pacific have been colder than average. The Climate Prediction Center is giving a 91% chance of a La Nina to remain through November and 80% through January. La Nina is essentially a chain reaction of weather. The lower sea surface temperatures affect the air above it, which affects the air patterns north, south, east, and west of it, which eventually affects all of the weather in the US. For example, during an average La Nina winter, the polar jet stream is going to set up in a way that kind of slices the US in half, and we're going to see a big blocking high pressure form in the Pacific Ocean. This leads to, on average, the south being drier, the Pacific Northwest being a little bit wetter, the Ohio Valley all the way up into the Great Lakes region being a little bit colder and wetter, and of course from the southern Appalachians over into the Mid-Atlantic region, we get a little bit warmer than average. Additionally, the sea surface temperatures closer to the lower 48 can impact our winters as well. In order to get those big, nasty nor'easters we all know and love, or maybe hate, you have to have an energy source. Even snowstorms require warm, moist air weather to flourish. And presently, the Atlantic current is hot. If these waters stay anomalously warm as we head into winter, we could very well see some interesting things happening along the coast. Also, some of the long-range forecast models are starting to print out solutions for as far out as next year. Currently, those solutions are bullish on a continuation of the pattern we've been in, keeping a lot of us in an above-average temperature zone and maintaining the overall dryness throughout the south and the west. These super long-range forecast models are to be taken with a grain of salt. I call it looking into weather la-la land, but it does add a little bit of weight to our overall outlook here. So you've heard me jabber on and on about all this science mumbo jumbo, but you click this video for one simple thing. You want to know how much snow you're going to get this year. Taking everything we've talked about so far into account, I've compiled yet another map that's going to show you exactly what you came here for. Okay, so the moment you've all been waiting for, here's the way I think this winter's going to go as of right now. This can change, but the areas I've marked in blue here, I think we're going to see an above average winter in terms of frozen precipitation. The dark blue areas are going to see much above average snowfall totals, and the light blue areas are going to have either slightly or moderately above average snowfall totals. And potentially the area that could see the biggest effect from this are the snow-starved areas of southern Illinois, around the St. Louis region, all the way back down into the Oklahoma City area, okay? Now, on either coastline, I think we're going to see below average frozen precipitation totals, way below average on the west coast, and just generally below average in the Pacific Northwest. This is despite the fact that typically La Nina winter is going to bring wetter conditions up there. Those long-range forecast models and what we're seeing currently leads me to believe that we're going to see a slightly differing jet stream pattern than what we would normally see during a La Nina period. And then, of course, because of those warm sea surface temperatures on the East Coast, it's going to be way harder for that freezing line to make it far enough east to bring significant snow to the coastal areas. But I still believe overall we're going to have below average snow all up and down the East Coast this year. Is it going to be significantly below average? Probably not, especially not in the mid-Atlantic all the way down into the Carolinas. But places like New York City and Boston, if we keep those really warm sea surface temperatures, that's going to enhance the snow to the west, but enhance the rain and the warm winter temperatures for the coastal areas. Now, all you've got to do is take a look at this map and compare it to this map, and you should easily be able to estimate the precise amount of snow you're going to see this year. Bada bing, bada boom, baby, right? Now, you know us weathermen are wrong all the time, right? I hear every day that it must be nice to have my job because I can fail so often and keep my position. Listen, I want you to hold me accountable. I want you to come back and prove me wrong. In fact, I'm willing to pay you $1,000 to do it. If you're new to this channel, you might not know that I do live weather coverage right here on YouTube for just about every single snowstorm. And during the snow coverage, people from around the country send in pictures and reports that I showcase live on air. Sometimes, especially during a big snowstorm, we get so many pictures that it's impossible to keep up with them all, and it's certainly impossible to show them all. That's why I developed the Yolometer. Never again will your snow picture be overlooked with this giant flashy snow measuring device. Get one now so you can have the coolest snow measurement picture on the block, or so you can rub it in my face when the forecast goes bust. Every live stream we do this year for snowstorms, we're going to compile all of your names. Anybody who sends a picture of their snow measurement or their snow sticks, whatever it is, we're going to put all your names in a pot and pick one at the end of the stream, and we're going to just give you $1,000, no strings attached. We could do that 10, 20 times this year. We only have a limited number of these Yolometers, so go to shopryanhall.com right now and order yours today. There's a link at the top of the description. Go look at it right now. Go click order. These are going to be gone pretty quick. And if you've made it this far into my shameless weather merch store plug, you are a real MVP and you deserve a discount. So use the code IMADEIT at checkout for 10% off your Yolometer, and this is going to work whether you're watching this the day I uploaded it or several months later. Seriously, go get one. It's about to start snowing, y'all. Super huge shout out to all of our members over here. Thank you guys for being a huge part of the channel. Once again, I hope you guys like videos like this. I can't post a traditional forecast video every day right now because nothing's really going on. These longer term outlooks, although they're not as concise, they're fun for me to make. They're good for the channel. It brings in new people, and I think there's some value that can be inferred to you just by knowing what we think the future is going to look like. Okay, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.